Philip, so you went down in Oakland. I didn't even see it as on the far side of the track. And next thing I know, your bike's leaned up against the wall. And, like, I didn't, it wasn't a big one. It was just in the whoops and just landed weird or what?
Yeah, I landed weird. I was kind of in the second lap of first qualifying, and I was following Kitchen and kind of reeled him in the first set of whoops and off the Dragon's back. And then we went into the second set, and he kind of went down the middle, so I went down the right side. It's kind of where it left me. And I just caught an edge halfway through, and it literally just pitched my bike out sideways, and I hit the deck. Like, it wasn't anything bad, but the way the whoops were, they're cupped and tacky, and I think it just stuck my arm, and I went to push to try and get up, and I said, something don't feel right, and then the pain set in. I was like, it's over. And then Doc Bodner came over in the mule. He's like, you all right? I said, no. I said, I think I did my wrist. Went up the asterisk thing, and he said I did my ulnar lunate or whatever bone is in there, and he said I needed to get it put back into place ASAP. Went to the hospital. They put it back in, and I got on a red eye that night, came back to Charlotte, saw some doctors. There's a couple other bones in there dislocated and ligaments are ripped off, and I had surgery on Thursday. It's kind of fucking end of story.
Is it the wrist arm that you did last year too?
No,
Opposite?
the other one.
Okay.
Yeah. So, this one kind of sucks because it's multiple bones in the wrist. Like when you break your radius, it's just one bone. You plate it, but it's like you do your knee and stuff. It's anything in a joint sucks. Yeah, fuck, man. It was, last week was not good for...
What are they saying for recovery time, though?
Mm-hmm. So the pins will come out in 8 weeks, and then probably a month, trying to get back, and I don't know, it's all touch and go,
right.
Who knows? Maybe I'm lucky pins can come out earlier. I really don't know, but
bummer.
Just, fucking took the wind out of my sails, ain't no doubt about it.
Yeah, because it's going to be tough to be 100% for nationals. That's just going to be possible, man. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's everything, like anything, it takes a long time to, dig yourself out of the hole and get back to being 100% again, because it takes a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Now I'm going back to fucking ground zero again and got to rebuild. So
it's so sometimes in these dislocations, they have trouble getting it back in. Was that okay at the hospital?
Yeah, they got the ulnar lunate, which is kind of...
Also, what was the quality of the hospital in Oakland? How was that?
No, it's a level 1 trauma center, so it's actually a really good hospital. So I kind of lucked out, and I mean, I was... so I didn't know anything about hospitals. There's trauma 1, 2, and 3, and I was trauma 1 because I just had a dislocated bone, but... the trauma 2s and kind of the trauma 3s that were coming in were a little bit sketchy.
A little sketchy, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm, sitting there in a Chinese finger trap in the hallway, and there's people coming in with like, their kneecaps are blown off, or a gunshot wound to the shoulder, or, somebody ran over somebody, and like they're coming in with their cuffed to the stretcher. You know what I mean? And like cops are following him in, and I'm like, Jesus, where am I right now? And then it's just like, don't worry, you're in a good hospital. They'll get you right, and this and that. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I said, there's more cops in here than there are patients. I'm not so sure I'm in a good spot.
So they got it in okay. But then, so another thing to worry about is ligaments, the stretching, because they're out for so long. How are those?
Yeah, they said. I mean, the doctor, he did a really good job. I went and seen a good hand specialist on Thursday, and he said everything went to plan. Obviously, in 3 months I'll know when. Yeah. Well, not even 8 weeks I'll know when I start having to move this thing. But because basically it's like it's fused right now. The joint is until the pins come out. Right. So kind of have to wait and see. But I ain't the first one to do this. Cody Webb reached out to me. He said he had his done last year, and he said it was gnarly and it hurt, and it's hard to get the full mobility back, but. It's not going to be easy. So.
Is that from scar tissue, or is why?
Scar tissue and just, ligaments getting tight and, just not using them. So like anything, like you do your knee, they fix your ACL, but your knee never goes back to being 100% ever again, So, it's just part of the territory. I don't know. It just sucks. Man. If there was a mic in my helmet when I was kind of walking off the track, I said things that are just not shouldn't be said. I was
So with it being dislocated, that's something that Alpine Star guys won't put back in for you. Like obviously it was crazy pain.
They can't because I don't know the way that bone is and the way it runs over the nerves and stuff for your hand, like your ulnar nerve basically, and it runs over to your fingertips. So I guess it's a really like crucial bone.
Okay.
And if they couldn't get it in Oakland, then I would have had to have immediate surgery on it there in Oakland. But the fact that they were able to get it in okay, and because I sat in traction for probably 3 hours.
I saw you had that photo, your arm like f***ing up and like giving high fives.
Yeah, that's another thing I was sketched out about, because normally you go to Chinese finger trap and like they have like actual weights and stuff. They tied an ace bandage up to my bicep with three IV bags.
Wow.
And that was my weight.
That's their weight.
Jeez. Yeah.
Crazy.
I felt like I was in Nam or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Normally they have like an actual proper machine, but they're like running around trying to find a way. Like, oh yeah, these 3-liter IV bags here will work fine. So,
bummer.
Yeah, it's a fucking bummer.
Well, look at it this way: you got time to come in and co-host, though.
Oh yeah, it's exactly what I want to be doing in the fucking season's coming into co-host.
Yeah, that's the attitude. Wygant was here last week. It's great.
We just had nice pizza. Good pizza.
Yeah,
Steve provides
it. Yeah, I'm going to have to come out because it'll keep me occupied because, like I said, it's been I've been pretty depressed.
How's Alexia taking this? Is she helpful or is she piling on?
Piling on a little bit, but it's okay. It's she's like, oh, come up here, I'll take care of you. Okay,
Yeah,
6. I got in at like 10 o'clock on Thursday night. My nerve block wore off at 2 a.m., so I was fucking miserable all through the night. And then 8 a.m. Friday morning, she's like, okay, well, I got to go to work, and, then I'll be back. Well, she was gone from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.,
Mm-hmm.
I was stuck at the house here by myself. I'm like, who the hell's I came up here to get, catered to, and I got no one here.
God.
Sitting there by yourself in a dark place.
Exactly. It's hard to wipe my ass with my left hand too.
Oh yeah, you got to do all that.
It was a struggle. But
what about that first one after the surgery? The first number 2.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's hard.
It's always tough.
Oh, that's a tough go.
Hard to get out.
Yeah.
It is hard to get out too.
Noof, how many surgeries did you have on your knee?
I had 8 on the one knee. Yeah.
8.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I know. I almost lost my leg. That was how bad it was.
Yeah.
No way. Really?
Yeah. 09.
When he was wrenching for Jimmy Albertson. Do you remember that?
No. When are you wrenching for Jimmy in the States?
Yeah. I drove the Valley rig for Albertson. Well, Hamblin was on the team, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
You remember that? I was all fucked up. That was the end of my career. I wrecked my knee at Glen Helen that winter, and then
that first retirement.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been 3 or 4. But
I got a really bad staph infection in my knee. It may or may not have had something to do with me falling into a hot tub drinking booze at Grant Langston's house shortly after surgery, but I don't know if that's the reason why.
Yeah, maybe.
But I was at Washougal because I did the whole outdoor series, came to Washougal, and I'm like, dude, something is really wrong with my knee. I went up to Doc Bodner, and he's like, you need to go to the hospital, like, right now.
Yeah.
And so I got on, because I had no health insurance, so I got on the flight and just went back home, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks with a
pick through you or whatever, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, because, I mean, my trainer said you had staph infection. He dealt with it for a long time as well. Stuff's not, I always get freaked out with surgeries and stuff.
You never know.
No.
You never
know.
No, because surgeons have bad days too, right?
Yeah, dirty
whatever
equipment or metal and stuff like that. Right. So you just never know.
What about Jay? Jer there winning that last main event. We just had him on an hour or so ago, and
it was awesome. I mean, I couldn't believe it.